Nicholas Armstrong has walked backstage corridors like these many times. After conducting over 125 unique performances with a 100-piece orchestra since 1995 at St. Anne's, Brooklyn College, and the Brooklyn Museum, Nicholas Armstrong, artistic director of the Brooklyn Symphony Orchestra, has decided to retire. As Nick walks to the stage, seats and stands in place, musicians warming up, a nervous anticipation bubbles up. It is a short walk to the stage, but a long journey to the conductor's podium, which prompts us to ask, how did that journey begin? In 2016, Nick sat down for an interview and told us his story. And in 2023, we decided to tell Nick exactly what we thought of him.
I grew up in the south of England, just outside Southampton, in a tiny village which is called Busselton. And when I grew up, there were about 300 people living there. And I went to the local Church of England school, and I was a boys soprano soloist in my church choir. And the church was built in the 1200s, old Saxon church. And I had a propensity for music very early on. I begged my mother to buy a piano, which she finally did, and then she found a piano teacher who was horrible, and so I didn't take the piano. And then when I was 11, which is kind of late for violin, but I made friends with a boy who played violin, and he loaned me a violin over the summer, and I sort of taught myself to begin with. And when I got back in the autumn to school, I was already really kind of playing fairly well. And then I ended up going to Bristol University, where I studied composition and viola as a minor. And when I finished there, I was very fortunate to get a job in Italy. I worked at the opera house in Venice, the Fenice Opera House. And then I met a young American guy who was doing the grand tour of Europe, and we met and we fell in love very quickly, and he's the reason why I ended up over here. And so we really just decided we'd move to New York. We had no prospects here, we just showed up. We found an apartment in Brooklyn, fell in love with Brooklyn, and I've been here ever since. I came to Brooklyn with very little to do, and I ended up looking for an orchestra to play with, and I found what was then the Brooklyn Heights Orchestra. I was asked to come and pitch it for a guest conductor who had pulled out at the last minute. And as a result of that, I was asked back, and I was offered the directorship of the orchestra. So it's been a long time that I've been here.
F, please.
Nick, I have a few things to say to you. Bartók's Miraculous Mandarin, Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe, Stravinsky's Firebird and Petrushka, and symphonies by Shostakovich and Mahler. You've given this orchestra some huge challenges, and each time the orchestra rose to the challenge, worked hard, learned tough pieces, grew more skillful, and gave some terrific performances. That is a great legacy. Thank you for helping the BSO grow and improve over these years. We wish you all the best in whatever you go on to next. And we'll always think of you at each December concert when we play your favorite piece, Leroy Anderson's Sleigh Ride.
Nick, first of all, I want to say I'm sort of surprised that after all these years of me being in the orchestra and kind of slipping in the back end because you didn't welcome me to the orchestra like you did others, because I totally made a mess of my audition. But you were kind enough to let me sit in the back of the viola section, pretend like I didn't actually massacre my audition. And that was probably 12 or 13 years ago. And I'm still in the back of the viola section, but at least you smile at me when you're conducting. You've been an amazing maestro, amazing friend, just an amazing confidant. And we're going to miss you terribly, but I'm so happy for this next evolution of your journey through this beautiful thing we call life. Congratulations, and I love you.
I'm standing outside St. Anne's Church, which is our home base for many years. The BSO has rehearsed in many different places, from Zion Lutheran Church's Parish Hall to Mark Morris Dance Center. And we've performed in many places, from this church to the Performing Arts Center at Brooklyn College and our current home at the Brooklyn Museum. The constant throughout all these moves has been you, Nick. You have been with us the whole time, treating the orchestra's musicians like family and bringing so much great classical music to the people of Brooklyn. That's quite an accomplishment you can be very proud of. Congratulations, Nick, on a great 25 years with the Brooklyn Symphony Orchestra. Thank you, and good luck with the next chapter of your life.
We did a concert many years ago at St. Anne's where we had been performing all these years. And on the program was music from Star Wars, the first half, and then the second half of the program, in one of my rare thematic programs, we did The Planets of Gustav Holst. And we had engaged a female chorus for the last movement, which is Neptune. And we had arranged it in such a way that they fade out. They just sing at the end and they fade out. We had them backstage. And we had arranged it so that all the lights would come down in the church, that the orchestra would stop playing, and that the chorus would just slowly fade into the distance and we would close the big doors. So nothing actually stopped. It worked beautifully visually, and the orchestra had done a remarkable job of playing the planets, and the chorus was singing out. And as they faded out, right outside on the street, which was Montague Street, was this really quite lovely but completely inappropriate jazz saxophone playing right at the end of the performance. And I thought to myself, where else would that happen? But that I think is a little tiny example of the world that we inhabit, where things do cross and they really do actually work quite beautifully, and nothing that you could plan could do that.
It's almost impossible to imagine the orchestra without you after so many years of fun and inspiring concerts, rehearsals, dinners, and various events around Brooklyn and the city. You have always brought a contagious spirit, energy, humor, commitment, and community to our beloved BSO. You've always seemed to strike the right balance between a drive for excellence and an enjoyable environment. Over 25 years, I can't think of a program that wasn't interesting, uplifting, or that came off poorly. It's been a remarkable run, and we salute your gifts and achievements while we thank you for your wonderful leadership and friendship.
It's been lovely to have known you, starting from the back of the second violin section and then working with us for the last, 30 years. It's been absolutely lovely. I have also really appreciated your awareness of the members of the orchestra, who we are, what we can do, and your very thoughtful leadership of the orchestra. And I hope you have a long, prosperous, productive, happy retirement.
I've known Nick for about 27 years. since I joined the orchestra. And in that time, I've really come to admire the way he works, especially the fact that I think he really trusts the music to speak for itself, which means that his main goal is to really get to know the music and stay out of the way, so there can be free-flowing communication between the composer and the artist, which makes it a very satisfying experience for us players. And I think that's hard, and the reason I admire it more than anything is because most conductors that I've worked with, or generally the idea that we have a conductor, is someone that really stamps a very heavy stamp on the performance. And I think Nick really doesn't do that. And I really think that I've learned a lot from that, from his approach to music. So I really value that. Thank you, Nick, for all that you've taught me. I'll miss you.
I first met Nick Armstrong when I joined the orchestra in the spring of 1999. I had just moved to New York from Canada, from Montreal, and I really didn't know many people at all. And not only did I find a place to make incredible music, and Nick, you were always so passionate about music and so passionate about making beautiful music, but I also found an incredible community of people led by you, Nick, who made me feel so welcome. I have so many incredible memories of dinners at your home, of playing chamber music together. And honestly, I become a little emotional when I talk about this because it's really one of the happiest music making times of my life, making music with you and sharing community together. And I miss you so much already since I haven't been in Brooklyn for 10 years. But you will always be in my heart. And I know we will always make music together in the future. And I want to thank you for being such a pillar of community and such a pillar of music making in Brooklyn and in New York for so many years and making this all possible for us.
Wow, Nick. When I joined the orchestra over 16 years ago, I was new to Brooklyn and looking for a place to play. And I remember I went to St. Anne's for that first rehearsal and really had no idea back then what a huge part of my life this orchestra was going to become. Nick, what you've done is something super special. This is not just a place to make top-notch music, and you've really made it that, but this is also a place, a real community of friends, and I'm forever grateful for what you've done for this orchestra, Nick. So congratulations, and I'll definitely miss you on Monday nights.
Nick, I consider to be one of the happiest coincidences of my life that we happened to meet in 1979 at the Virginia Commonwealth University Orchestra, you conducting and me sitting as last cello, as is my normal spot. And then was even a happier coincidence that I think maybe 20 years later, 15 years later, I'm not exactly sure, when we both decided to, I guess it must have been, yeah, when we both decided to purchase homes around the corner from each other, you on Bond Street and me on Dean Street. And I was walking down the street and this friendly voice yells out, "Seth Merowitz?" And I was thrilled to see it was you. And we reconnected. And I just want to thank you because you've been a great friend over the years, and I hope continue to be. And a wonderful guide in my musical journey, starting as early as 1979. I think I probably have known you longer than anyone in the symphony. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling I might be right. But thank you for the friendship, for providing fabulous leadership for the symphony, and for being a bit of a musical guide for me in my life. Thanks, Nick, and congratulations on your retirement. And looking forward to continuing to share many glasses of wine, either on your stoop or back in our garden.
Nick, I have already waxed poetic about all the extraordinary music you have taught me and the countless composers you have introduced me to. But now I want to thank you for something else. Besides my husband and a handful of work friends, you and your orchestra have been the source of the most special relationships I have made since 1997. Not only from 25 years of concert seasons, but from all you have planned. Chamber concerts at churches and libraries, performing with soloists and choirs, the barge parties, the black and white ball, the pop-ups, the Atlantic Antic, the fundraisers, my wedding music, Monday night dinners, and the countless times you have opened your home to us for sumptuous meals and wonderful parties. You have done so much for and with this orchestra over these many years. I have built my social calendar around its commitments and special occasions and celebrations, to which everything else in my life has played second fiddle. Please pardon the obvious pun. I have so many dear friends and have had so much fun and laughter and wonderful memories from being in your orchestra. Nick, you have quite simply shaped my life. And as much as I'm going to miss you, and I'm crushed that you're leaving, I wish you the best and a happy and long retirement.
I'm not a religious person in a traditional sense, but I believe very much in soul, and I think that this is such a soulful experience, making music from scratch, to come in at the beginning of an 8-week rehearsal cycle and have everyone see music for the first time, and know that 8 weeks later we've done a remarkable job together of really rebuilding a masterpiece in many cases. It's a glorious experience, and it's very, very nourishing for the soul.
Your leadership has been an inspiration to Brooklyn Symphony. Thank you so much for your dedication.
And cut.